I'm a male 24 who was adopted when I was 6 years old. I've always felt incredibly lucky because my adoptive parents, who were in their late 20s when they took me in, have been nothing short of amazing. They've loved and supported me as if I were their own flesh and blood, and I've never felt like anything was missing in my life because of being adopted. Growing up, I had very minimal details about my adoption. I know that I was removed from my biological family by social services due to neglect and abuse, but I don't remember anything about my life before I was adopted. It's not something I've dwelled on much because I've never felt like I needed those missing pieces to feel complete or valued. Recently, out of simple curiosity, I decided to sign up for one of those at-home DNA testing kits. I wasn't looking for a reunion or any deep connection. I just wanted to know more about my genetic history, like why I was removed from my biological family, and if there were any medical issues I should be aware of. Honestly, I didn't expect to find anyone closely related to me, so it felt like a low-stakes way to get some answers. About 8 weeks after sending off the kit, I finally remembered to check the results, and to my surprise, I matched with my biological mother. BM. She had sent me a message saying she was overjoyed that I had done the test and that she desperately wanted to reconnect with me and the rest of my biological family. She mentioned that she's thought of me every day, that I was always loved, and even that I have a biological little brother who is very excited to meet me, something I didn't even know. Her message was really emotional and, to be honest, overwhelming. To me, she's a complete stranger, and reading those words didn't stir anything in me other than discomfort. I spent a lot of time crafting a thoughtful response to BM, explaining that while I appreciated her message, I wasn't interested in forming a relationship with her or any of my biological family. I made it clear that my reason for doing the DNA test was purely informational. I wanted to understand my past, maybe get some medical history, and learn why I was removed, but that was it. I apologized if my actions gave her the wrong impression. BM read my message and replied, saying that she'd be willing to give me all the information I wanted, but only if I agreed to meet her at a cafe to discuss our relationship further. I refused, telling her that I wasn't comfortable with a face-to-face meeting. I offered a phone call as a compromise, but emphasized that I just wanted the information and then for both of us to move on with our lives. She outright refused to provide any information unless I agreed to meet with her in person and discuss our relationship. I talked to my best friend about this, and she sided with BM, saying that I was being unfair. She argued that by signing up for the DNA site, I had essentially opened the door to this kind of situation, and that refusing to meet with BM now is like playing mind games and leading them on. So, am I wrong for not wanting a relationship with my biological mom after I signed up for the DNA testing site? Now for some of the top comments. Queen of Met 1987. Not the idiot. She's holding your info hostage to get you to meet with her, which is her being TA. You were removed for a reason, and she probably wants to fill you with her version. Since you know her name, can you contact the agency that removed you to request the information? OP, I could have always gone through the route of getting in touch with social services and seeing what they can tell me, though I am not sure how much they can share because of data protection, so I just thought it would be easier this way. Also, it would have been nice to hear it from my family's perspective, if you get what I mean. Rayodek. As a fellow adoptee, I vote, not the idiot without question. You don't owe her anything. I'd argue she owes you information, though. Something she did caused the adoption to happen, and she's awful for holding that information hostage. Your friend is completely in the wrong, and if they aren't adopted, I'm not surprised about their opinion. A lot of non-adopted people have really weird opinions on how adoptees should feel and act. Classical one being that we should all feel grateful for our adoptive parents because they saved us. AP, no, they are not adopted, which may explain their perspective. They did annoy me, though, calling me unfair for not having a relationship with them, despite the fact it's not something I've ever wanted. It was unfortunate that BM saw I was on there and messaged me first, and I feel bad that it may have given her false hope. I wish I could have been the first to message to get it out there right away, what I was expecting. Special K77, not the idiot. Fellow adoptee here. I did meet my birth mother when I was 16, and I've spent the following 16 years regretting it. Mine is selfish and manipulative and pulled the same trick. I'll tell you everything when I see you, nope. Do not engage. Half of what she told me was outright lies, and she's desperately tried to wedge herself into my life at every opportunity when I've made it clear I do not want her. How does it feel to be unwanted? Egg donor. Welcome to my world. I'm an adult. I have my own children now. My parents were wonderful people. I didn't have the best life ever or anything, but I was raised by people who loved me and wanted the best for me. It's hard. Your BM has expectations, and you have different ones. The thing is, she's being unrealistic and unreasonable by holding the info you want hostage. I'm sorry you're dealing with that. It's not right of her, and it's not fair to you. OP, I understood that what she would have told me wouldn't have likely been the objective truth. But I was interested in hearing it from her anyway. In some ways, I suppose I was a little curious about her and her life, but I didn't want a relationship with her at this point in my life. But that wouldn't have been me saying never. And she didn't tell me how old her other son is, but depending, I would have possibly been willing to meet him at least. The fact that she tried to force my hand has left a really sour taste in my mouth and has made the whole thing icky. I think I have decided I'm going to write her a final message about how I didn't appreciate being told I would only be allowed that information if I met up with her and discussed a relationship with her. I think I will say it comes across as manipulative. And that is what put the final nail in the coffin that I certainly don't want anything to do with her. But does that seem too much? I'm not going overboard by saying that to her, am I? Initial company 3926. Not the idiot. I honestly find it a bit concerning she's using blackmail to get her way, completely ignoring how you feel. You are not comfortable meeting her, and that is your right, and it is okay. You decided, despite not wanting to give her a phone call instead. She still refused. As I said, I am concerned. She doesn't have your best interest at heart, only what she wants. I get she wants to meet you, but the only thing she is doing is driving you away with her demands blackmail. I am so sorry, OP. It does seem that way to me. I feel better knowing that I wasn't being blind, though certainly was being naive to think that she would just give me all the information I was looking for. The fact that she is giving me demands makes me more certain that I don't want to meet her. And the extra thing is, I may have been open to a potential IRL meeting at some point in the future if she didn't try to force me. But now she has. I don't know. I am feeling pretty confused at the minute. Depending on the age of the son, I may be willing to have some contact with him. But again, it definitely wouldn't be an IRL thing right away. Hey everyone. It's been about 9 days since I last posted, and I thought it was time for an update. I really want to thank everyone who took the time to comment and offer advice. I've read through everything, and it's been both helpful and eye-opening. So, after all the advice and some serious thinking, I decided to talk to my biological mom again, hoping that maybe if I explained myself better, she'd understand where I was coming from. Unfortunately, things went downhill fast. Instead of trying to meet me halfway, she just got more manipulative, insisting that I was being selfish for not wanting to meet her in person. She refused to give me any information unless I agreed to her terms, which was a hard no from me. I've come to realize that I was pretty naive to think that my biological family might be decent people after everything. I mean, I was removed from their care for a reason, but I guess a part of me wanted to believe that people can change. Looking back, I feel kind of dumb for even starting this whole journey. It's brought up a lot of emotions that I wasn't really prepared to deal with. And to be honest, I'm feeling pretty down about the whole situation. And as for my best friend, well, that's another disappointment. She didn't just side with my biological mom initially. She's been unsupportive throughout this whole mess. Even after I told her about the latest conversation, she couldn't really understand why I was so upset. She kept saying that I should just give them a chance and not be so harsh. It's like she doesn't get how hard this is for me. and I'm starting to feel like she never really did. It's tough because I've always considered her one of my closest friends, but right now, I'm not sure she's someone I can rely on. After all this, I decided to sit down with my adoptive parents and talk everything over with them. I hadn't really opened up to them about how deep this was affecting me, but they were amazing, as always. They were upset when they heard how my biological mom was acting, and they reassured me that none of this is my fault. They reminded me that there's a reason I was removed from that situation, and it's not on me to fix it or make things right with people who've clearly not changed. Talking with them made me realize just how lucky I am to have them. They've been there for me every step of the way, and they made it clear that whatever happens, they're my real family, the ones who've loved and supported me no matter what. It's hard not to feel down after everything that's happened, but having them in my corner makes it a bit easier to cope. Honestly, I regret even starting this whole DNA journey. It's brought up more pain than I expected, and I can't help but wish I just left the past where it belongs. But at the same time, I'm grateful that it's reminded me of how blessed I am to have my adoptive parents. They're the ones who've always been there for me, and I couldn't ask for a better family. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to focus on the people who truly care about me and let go of the rest. It's not easy, but I know I'm on the right path. Thanks again to everyone who reached out. It's really helped me feel less alone in all this. Take care, everyone. Now for another post from OP. Hey everyone, I've been thinking a lot about my family today, especially after everything that's been going on lately. It got me reminiscing about some of the best moments I've had with them, and there's one memory that stands out, something from when I was still a kid that I'll never forget. I must have been about 8 years old, just a couple of years after I was adopted. It was around Christmas time, and I remember feeling nervous because it was only my second Christmas with my adoptive parents. Holidays always make me feel weird, even now. Anyway, my dad's friend owned a Christmas tree farm, and that year my mom and dad decided to take me to pick our Christmas tree. We spent what felt like hours walking through rows and rows of trees. My parents kept asking me which one I liked best, and I remember feeling so much pressure, like I had to pick the absolute best one, or else I'd ruin Christmas. But they were so patient, letting me take my time. Finally, I pointed out a tree. Honestly, it looked like every other one to me, but my parents made a huge deal out of it. My dad knelt down to start sawing, and I remember him pretending to struggle, saying, "Oh no, I think this tree might be too strong for me." My dad made me come over and help me, saying he couldn't do it alone. So there I was, this little 8-yo, pretending to help my dad saw down this tree. Of course, I wasn't actually doing anything, but they made me feel like I was the strongest kid in the world. When the tree finally fell, my dad swept me up in his arms and spun me around, saying, "We did it!" After we got home and set up the tree, my mom brought out these old boxes full of ornaments. She told me that we were going to start a new tradition. Every year, we'd each pick out one new ornament to add to the tree, something that represented something special from that year. That night, they handed me my very first ornament, a little wooden bear holding a heart with the word family carved into it. My mom said, "This one's for you, because you made our family complete." I remember holding that ornament, feeling this huge wave of love and belonging that I'd never really felt before. At the time, I don't think it even hit me how impactful that was, how that moment defines the way I look at myself today. I was part of a loving family. I was their family. Every Christmas after that, we'd pull out that little wooden bear and hang it up first. It became our tradition. The reason I've been thinking about this memory today is because it's a reminder of how lucky I am to have the parents I do. They didn't just give me a home. They gave me a sense of belonging, and they gave me love. Even with everything that's been going on, I know that I've got something really special, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Anyway, thanks for letting me share this. I just needed to remind myself how amazing my family is, and I hope it brings a smile to your face like it does to mine. Am I the idiot for breaking up with my boyfriend after he hit my hand and threw away a flower a homeless man gave me? My birthday was a couple of days ago, and I haven't spoken to him since. I'm heartbroken about this. I was walking home with my boyfriend, and we passed a group of homeless people. One of them said, "Here you go, miss. You're the first woman who walked by," and gave me a dead flower. It was around 10 p.m., and my birthday was at midnight, so it kind of felt special to me. I said, "Thank you so much," and kept walking. My boyfriend didn't say anything, so I didn't think anything was wrong. I took my phone to take a video of the flower and tell my friend what just happened, and he tried taking my phone. I was laughing and asked what he's doing, and he didn't answer, just kept walking next to me. He looked a little annoyed, but I still wanted to get a video with the flower, so I pulled my phone out again. This time, he hit my hand really hard and made me drop my phone on the concrete. My phone screen is completely broken. Luckily, it's the screen protector, but still, it's all shattered. I screamed, "Why did you do that?" And he took my flower and threw it on the road. He said that's what I get for embarrassing him like that. I was tearing up because 1, he broke my phone, 2, he threw my flower away. 3, I couldn't understand what I did wrong. He made me delete the video with the flower in front of him, and we walked in silence the rest of the time. At home, I blew up at him. I was crying, screaming, asking him why he did that, literally an hour before my birthday. He said, "How would you feel if a girl just came up to me in front of you to give me a flower?" I said, "If it were the same homeless woman that you see almost every day when you walk in your neighborhood, I wouldn't mind." We have walked by this specific man plenty of times. He called me a liar, then said I was manipulative to try to invalidate his feelings when I was blatantly disrespecting him in front of other men. I don't understand how it's disrespectful. I wasn't even going to keep the damn thing. It was a dead flower. I just thought it was cool because that had never happened to me, especially 2 hours before my birthday. He said a bunch of stuff, basically that I was an attention intimacy worker. I was sobbing. It was already my birthday, and I felt like shoot. We went to sleep without talking, and the next morning he was gone. I had a brunch with my friends, so I had my mind distracted for a couple of hours, but it was still in the back of my mind. I still don't know who's 100% in the wrong here. Maybe I shouldn't have accepted the flower, but I honestly saw it as an innocent thing. He still won't talk to me. Even his siblings wished me a happy birthday, but he hasn't yet. I don't know what to do. I don't want to lose my boyfriend over a flower. Now for a few comments. OP responds to multiple comments on the fact her boyfriend is being hurtful. Okay, this is honestly scaring me. I just cannot imagine him doing those things to me. But I honestly am taking what you're saying into consideration, and I'm going to think about this entire relationship. I know it's ridiculous to me, especially because we've walked past this guy so many times before, and the flower was literally half dead, lol. I'm definitely considering breaking up with him. I just wanted someone to tell me where I was wrong. Thank you so much. Oopie, I know, this honestly hurt me more than my phone being broken. He had never called me names, ever. He also said I was an intimacy worker just like my other little friends. Maybe he was just in the heat of the moment because he was really angry, but I decay. I can't stop thinking about that. Why are 2 children out alone at night? We're 22. Yes, you do want to lose your boyfriend over a flower. There will not be a better excuse for you to separate yourself from this insecure maniac. Now for the 4-day update. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for all the help. I broke up with him. To be honest, I still love him, and I'm trying to cut all communication because I know that if he contacts me again, I'll most likely go back. I literally made a list of all the reasons why he sucks, and I try to read it every time I want to text him, lol. Here's the update. He surprised me with my favorite flowers and a letter. He wished me happy birthday and apologized for his reaction. He said he was being immature and it won't happen again. He said we should work on communicating each other's boundaries better. He also apologized for ghosting me for a few days. He said he just needed some time to cool down. Not going to lie, I just wanted my boyfriend back. So I accepted the apology under the condition that he will never do anything like that again. He swore on his life that he'll never make me cry ever again. I genuinely saw a shift in his personality. He was even better than when I first fell for him. Like one time, we were cuddling and talking about our relationship. He literally started crying while professing his love to me. He said that he knows that sometimes he gets frustrated over little things, but it's because he loves me so much and he's terrified to lose me. He shared so many things about his past. He had never opened up to me before, so it really felt like the relationship grew stronger. We went to the beach as a little birthday celebration for me with his friends. We were 6 in total, and I was the only girl. 2 other girls were supposed to come too, but they had work. I didn't know that until I asked one of the guys, and he told me, long story short, he got mad at me for wearing a bikini. He was like, "WTF do I look like having my girl walk around half naked like a hoe in front of everyone?" I reminded him that we're at the beach and a lot of people wear bikinis at the beach. He said that it's different because I'm the only girl here with 5 guys and it makes me look bad. I said I didn't care and went back to everyone. After a little while, he pulled me to the side again. He called me names. Said that one of his friends obviously wants to frick me, but I'm too freaking dumb to see it. He said he overheard him. I don't think this is true, but he was very angry, but also he had been drinking, so it could explain his irrationalness. I started crying, then went home because I didn't want people to see me like that. He was being so weird. I don't know why he was being aggressive all of a sudden. Like before the flower incident, he had never used that kind of language with me, especially in public. He came over that night to talk about what happened. I was so hurt. I honestly thought we had grown closer. We both explained our side of the situation. I told him I wasn't trying to get anyone's attention by wearing a bikini, and I can kind of understand his point of view because I was a little uncomfortable too, being the only girl there. He said I could have put my clothes back on, but I had to stay in a bikini. He said I looked like a hoe waiting to get fricked when I was laying on my stomach tanning. I can't really remember what he said after that. I was just so hurt. We were going in circles, so we decided to just go to bed. He then tried to initiate intimacy, which just pissed me off. I said no every time. I heard him say something about me being an annoying butt witch under his breath, and that was the last straw. I kicked him out and broke up with him. It wasn't easy. He was crying and screaming the whole time. He even punched a wall in my room. I was terrified. I never thought he could do that. We had never fought like that before. He finally left when I dialed 911 and threatened to call. I don't know why I still love him so much. I understand his reactions, knowing his past and what he's been through, and it's a lot, trust me. I know it's not an excuse, but it's still an explanation, right? Anyway, it's over now. Half of my stuff is still at his house. I don't even want to think about it right now. He's blocked. I am really trying to villainize him in my mind so I can move on. But it's hard when all I can think of is the amazing moments we shared. Like how he was crying in my arms telling me he loves me more than life. The day he asked me to be his girlfriend, or the day he gave me a promise ring. Maybe I did go wrong somewhere. It's just so crazy to think that all of this could have been avoided if I hadn't accepted the flower. Also, I am very aware that I'm dumb for thinking that he could change so quick. I just wanted my boyfriend back. Thank you again, everyone, for the advice. Now for a few important comments. Brian or Mike said, "You are wrong in the kind of person he is. He's an hurtful piece of garbage. He'll manipulate you and say whatever he feels he needs to say to get you to stay. But in reality, he does not care about you. No, his past isn't an explanation nor an excuse either. He's just a bad person." Then OP replied, "I don't know why he started acting like that. I can assure you he wasn't like this before it started 2 weeks ago. I don't know why." Lady Uxalot 1 said, "You did the right thing and I am proud of you. He is violent and hurtful and you simply cannot afford to go back. All those special moments, the crying in your arms, the declarations of love, that was him convincing not only you but himself. Why? Because he wants your forgiveness, sure, but what he really wants is to confuse you and convince you both he's not capable of abuse. But that's a lie. And now you see the lie. Am I the idiot for calling out a customer for stealing credit for our macarons in her cakes?" I, female 24, started this small online baking business almost 3 years ago. I'm currently pursuing an advanced degree and have given all the rights to my older sister, 27F. We're officially registered as a bakery in our town. I am responsible for updating the monthly calendars and editing photos that are being posted on our Insta and FB. I'm in charge of the PR, so I have access to both accounts. I noticed that we had a regular customer who frequently orders our French macarons. No big deal. Then I got a little sus when she started asking for specific colors while sending cake inspos. When I did a little digging, lo and behold, she has her own online cake business too. She was also using our macarons on her cakes, repeatedly. At first I was like, this isn't new. I asked someone else to properly credit us, and we got tagged repeatedly for the macarons we made. It was so simple, so I messaged the said customer and asked the same thing. The customer agreed. Well, I just discovered that what this girl did was literally tag us in a single photo. We don't pop up at all on the caption, no mention of us or our name alongside the macarons that we made. We can't even share it. It was pretty obvious that she didn't want us to have any association with her cakes. Debo, my sister's macarons were the reason her cakes look well made. This is probably no big deal for you guys out there, but this is a small town and only my sister and another local bake shop makes them. They're pretty difficult to master. I got upset as hell when she recently posted a photo of her latest menu featuring our macarons. It literally says 6-piece macarons on her cakes. That's the quantity that we sell. I saw red and immediately typed this message. Hi ma'am, we saw your posted photos and I think it's a bit unfair to advertise that you include 6 pieces macarons on her cakes. But nowhere did it say that we baked them for you, albeit unknowingly and without our permission. We had to do our own digging. Those are our shop macarons. You are willingly deceiving your customers by purposely omitting that another small local business produces these high-quality baked products for your cakes. See first photo equals her menu. If you're going to continue using our French macarons for your products permanently, it is only right that you place our name alongside the macarons each time you use them, e.g., 6-piece macarons by our shop. For example, see second photo, equals a customer baker who featured our name's product on her post. A good baker knows how to properly credit the local businesses that she employs. It's a small thing, but very thoughtful nonetheless. I hope you will do the same for your future transactions with us. My sister thought I was being rude, but I told her that I was just being stern. Her point was that our product is no longer ours once she puts it into her cake. I told her that it's different when it comes to baked goods. She's literally taking credit for her, hard work. So, am I the idiot? Edit. Forgot to say that every time we get credited on our products, they get thanked plus shared on our page for exposure. It's how we support other local businesses. It's common courtesy. Second edit, we make macaron cakes too. One of our main selling points is the fact that we make custom cakes which highlight our high-quality macarons. To those people making an argument that the macarons equals ingredient, it's not. Macarons are a finished product. It is not equal to flour, sugar, or any raw material. We're not Oreos or insert big-name brands here. We're just a small business. Now for a few comments. A commenter said, NTA, it would be one thing if you made and sold cake decorations specifically, and she was a buyer. But you're both bakeries. Presumably, you also make cakes. Honestly, it's deceitful as hell to do it without asking in the first place, but you're willing to overlook that if she would just give credit. She's apparently not willing to do that. OP replied, Yep, we bake all kinds of stuff. Cakes, brownies, cookies, you name it. Even cakes with macarons on top. When OP was asked why it's important to credit others in the food industry, she responded, I don't even know how to answer your first question because it doesn't make sense. If I liked the food that a restaurant created, do I expect them to credit all of their sources? Of course not. That would be ridiculous. But I would credit the restaurant or their chef for their skills for making an end product that's amazing and delicious. Have you ever had experience selling online with a niche community? Because in our local online food business community, it's common courtesy to tag the services that you used, the specially made toppers, etc., to support other small businesses. We do have logos in our macaron boxes, if that's what you meant. It's a different thing because she's literally reselling the macarons and rebranding them as her own products. It would have been polite if she has informed us in advance, but she purposely omitted the fact. Just because it's a baked good doesn't mean this person isn't passing off someone else's skill and work as their own. There are tons of resellers everywhere, such as Krispy Kreme donuts, but it's not ethical to claim their donuts as yours, right? Now for the update. Hi guys, it's been a few months since I last posted. I didn't expect that my original story would get some attention. I noticed that some were asking for an update, so this will be short and sweet, like my sister's macarons, maybe. I just want to thank everyone for their honest opinions and suggestions. I let my sister read the entire thread as well. She realized how shitty it was that her hard work was getting passed off as the baker's efforts, especially when it took her 2 to 3 years to master the macarons. To this day, her macarons are one of her best sellers. Plus, she's the only known macaron baker in the city, so she's fully aware of the true value of her hard work. My sister and I actually considered some of your ideas/opinions on the matter, but thankfully, the baker I mentioned before resolved things herself. She apologized to my sister for not mentioning our business. It took a couple of months, but I'm happy to say that she finally credited our business as the makers of the macarons. She even pinned the post on her business page where it clearly states that the macarons on her macaron cakes were made by us, our brand. She continues to be our customer to this day. That's it, basically. Thanks again. Now for a few comments. A commenter said, "Your sister should consider putting a baker's mark on her macarons anyways. It's super cute and shows you go that extra mile and free advertising." OP replied, "We are actually considering it. We're still looking for suppliers who can make this possible though. Thank you." The same commenter suggested, "You could make a crude version with craft wire and a hammer. It's just got to get hot enough to leave a mark on your item. You could even just do a stamped impression instead of a heated one." OP responded, "Yeah, that's what we were thinking. A cute little stamp of our logo on the macarons." My sister thinks the same thing too, actually. Maybe we'd use edible ink, but it can get tricky. We don't want it to look messy. We have different colors for the macarons, so we'd have to experiment too.